Jane, hey, congratulations on your new film, Witchy Ways.
Thank you. I'm loving it so far.
Well, it's always a delight to have these indie projects go through the film circuit right now. But let's hear it from you first. Is where the original idea came from for Witchy Ways?
The original idea came from, in all honesty, like at the heart of it, it came from watching Practical Magic. I was searching for an idea. I had tried to write a script that was darker and more serious and more scary, and I wasn't feeling it. I don't know whether, in reflection, I don't know whether it was coming out of COVID or, I don't know what it was, but I wanted something easier, happier, you know. Um, and then I watched a bunch of ghost movies and I watched a bunch of witch movies, but Practical Magic really resonated with me. And I remembered I had loved it when I first saw it. And then I was like, oh no, there's this joy to it. I like the practicality of the witches, the women who are witches in that movie. I love the down to earthness and the fact that they just are trying to live their regular life. That was my core inspiration because once I latched onto sort of the tone of that movie and responded to that, I started doing research, and then in the research I discovered this witch community that actually exists, and it's pretty large, and I realized that there were aspects to it that I found were um worth highlighting, worth enlightening people about, and that inspired me. And then you get into it, and then you're writing and all other things pop in, relationship to my mom. I'd never explored that. So Eve's relationship with her mom is very much reflected of my relationship with my mother, and it's just then things become tentacles. I don't know exactly where it all comes from, but the core of it was searching for an idea, wanting to do something with a witch, and watching Practical Magic and feeling inspired.
Wow. Now, in the course of your research, did you try any of this practical magic yourself?
I did. You have to. How can you write if you haven't experienced something, right? I mean, it's my first thing that I was going to do, like I was going to write a spell, and then I was like, oh, I don't know how to write a spell. So I went online, and oh, there were just tons of spells. I was like, what is this? And then I thought, okay, so she's got a spell, and then I'm going to do a moon ritual. Like, what's a moon ritual? I've never experienced it, so maybe I should go experience it. I asked my next door neighbor if she wanted to do it with me, and she's like, "Oh, yeah, come down to my house. You can do it with me." And I was like, "You've been holding out on me here? Like, what's going on?" And I went down, and she had, you know, all her crystals out and the incense going, and and her tarot. And I was like, I didn't know any of this about her, none of it. But we did a moon ritual, and then I just, that was fun. And so, like, I actually do moon rituals now with a couple of other people. We do them regularly. We've been doing them since I first did my first one. And sometimes we'll do a new moon and talk about intentions, and sometimes we'll do a full moon and talk about release. But what I've learned is that even if you don't have to believe that the moon is moving, having any kind of effect on you at all. To have a once a month reset on your intentions not be a good thing. Do
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Like to sit down and remind yourself, where am I going? What direction am I going in? What do I want to accomplish? And if you do that regularly, with or without the moon, it's good. The moon just adds, a little extra something. And, same with release. The full moons are about release. And if just once a month you remind yourself of something that's like a bad habit or something that's holding you back because you just can't stop doing it, but it's a negative, and remind yourself to release it. Nothing wrong with that, right? Living gratitude, nothing wrong with that. So I found it really inspirational. I mean, I don't think I'd ever make witch status because I think you really have to be serious and committed and probably know a lot more than I know, but I can adopt some things that work for me. Yeah.
Did During your discovery, did you find the fascination of like magic and witches is just an escapism or just a alternative lifestyle?
I think. Well, the witches I know, and what I've learned online is that the people who are practicing witches have a true spirituality. It's not unlike anybody else's spirituality, and they have their beliefs, and they help them to maneuver through life, navigate life, and they come. A lot of it comes from kindness. It's all religions, if you go way back, are rooted in kindness. They just get bastardized over time. So I feel like. Um, for the people that practice, it's very true. And however it impacts their life, it impacts them for a positive, it helps them get through life like any religion does, then there's no difference. And I also think that so many things in life happen and you don't know why. Like, you get we say, oh, it's, oh, just dumb luck, or, oh, happenstance, or whatever you want to call something. You could also call it magic. Hey, that thing happened. It's just a little bit of magic that just came into your life and gave you something unexpected. It's just a different word, but why wouldn't it be magic, right?
So true, so true. Now, your story I found fascinating is because you touched upon the sort of like the biasness and discrimination against witches, which runs parallel to your other story, romantic theme of LGBTQ, which is also, runs the theory of biasness and discrimination. Can you tell about merging these two into this world?
Yeah, there are very clear parallels. I mean, they're very clear parallels, and I don't want to ever like I don't make movies where I'm trying to shove something down somebody else's throat. Like if you pick up on it, great, and if you don't, I'm not trying to force feed you anything. But the witch community is probably in the broom closet, as I like to say, about where like LGBTQ was maybe 20 years ago. And like they're they really just want to be recognized and live their life truthfully. Like everybody wants to be recognized and live their life truthfully. And I love the parallels with that because I didn't have to say it about the lesbian couple and their romance and who they are as human beings. I didn't have to say anything. And I don't, like, we don't talk about their sexual orientation or, it's just everything is just a story that could be interchanged with any gender and any, I just didn't want to make a point of it. But the point is made through this witch community, who is afraid to come out and be truthful. So I was really struck by that parallel when I was writing it. And but I just wanted to make sure I was just leaning into the witch point of view
Mhm.
as opposed to the LGBTQ point of view when I was talking about it. But yes, those parallels are absolutely there.
Excellent. Jane, address the how you handled the romantic chemistry between your two lead actresses for this film.
Well, some of it you can't do much. You either get it or you don't get it, you know. But I always do rehearsals, and part of my rehearsal process is not just like let's work the lines and find the purpose and understand how these characters are communicating, but it's also opportunity to um have the actors get to know each other and also the actors get to know me. So as a director, it's easier to work with people if they know and trust you. Asking actresses to do some of the things in the movie that they did, they have to trust that you're going to take care of them during the shooting and then afterwards as well. So the rehearsal process is where that kind of root of trust comes from. I just got lucky. I mean, I in the casting it fit. Like Maram is Danni and Diora, and I know her well, but Diora was somebody I didn't know, but I saw her being goofy and stuff she did like on Instagram. And I thought that's an energy and a essence that I was looking for the character. And they are, as human beings, two totally different people, but there was always that hope that that difference would make them actually sing. But the fact that when they came together and they actually had amazing chemistry, that is something that can't be manufactured. It just either is there or it's not there. And in this case, I got lucky.
I want to say the other main character of your film is that house. That is such a beautiful house that you managed to to score for your production set.
Yeah, I love that house. I mean, we searched long and hard, and I always start with location. Like, I'll find a location, and I know if the location is right, I'll rewrite the script for the location. You know, in this case, it didn't take a whole lot of rewriting, just sort of the way I used each space, had to be stuck into the script in the right way. But it was the color palette I was looking for, like all the tones and everything in it were exactly right. And we had looked at a bunch of places and almost gave up. And then Inara Landon, my producer, she found this on Airbnb and we went to see it. And when I walked in to that kitchen, I was like, oh my God, this is a Nancy Meyers kitchen. Like, this is like the perfect rom-com kitchen. But on top of that, there were all these little witchy things that felt real through the house. And there was just this age to the house where like the floors were just worn enough. And then each room had its own personality. So I could imagine like, what am I going to do here? And how is this going to work in? And the downstairs bedroom was like underneath the house, almost like in a basement in a way. And it was super small and just had this vibe to it. And I have to say, the women that own the house, the mother, she designed the house and she did a beautiful job because every little piece in that house was well thought out. Every room had its own personality. And then the same with the cottage that was also on the property. So like that gave me the ability to have those two structures near each other instead of having to go to another location to fake that that there's a guest house on the location. But that house was just, it was everything that I was either going to go super witchy, in which case I would have gone darker than I wanted, or I was going to find myself a rom-com house. And that's like, for me, that was like golden, golden. After that, I was like, we find our house, let's set a start date, let's go.
Well said, well said. Well, Jane, let me wrap it up with one last question. You done wonderfully with Witchy Ways, and your previous film, Crazy Bitches, was also a terrific series itself. Tell us about telling these type of stories with women in the lead. You know, it seems like, back to back now you're pushing, these type of female voices out there.
Yeah, I mean, I think, well, first of all, I'm a female, so it's good for me. Like I can write close to who I am, even though I think, you can write all kinds of gender and age and whatever. If you just put yourself in somebody else's position, there's always something in your life that feeds it. But, it's kind of like a weird twisty thing. It's like I want to write things for my friends. A lot of my friends are female. We sort of like go around. Like Candace Kane is a very good friend of mine. I've known her for years now. She's been in a bunch of my things. Miriam Hassler is a friend of mine. I've known her for about 8 years now. These are all people I wanted to work with. Um, but there's just something, and I don't want to say it's important, and it makes it harder to finance because it truly does. But the opportunity to make a movie with a lot of women in the bigger roles is hard to come by, and so it's not done that often. And it is, what do they say? Women are 55% of the population or something. It's so off balanced. I think sometimes people get a little thrown. Witchy Ways definitely threw people. There's this horror comedy with just basically all chicks, and the guys in it were the eye candy, and like the dumb blonde almost was the guy role. But so I'm like, I'm not sure that the genre world always understands me, but why not? It's fresh and it's interesting and it's not the same thing. I've had several people ask me about the fact that the actresses aren't 20 or 25 or whatever, and why? Well, because why not? Like these women are beautiful. It doesn't matter what their age is. They're absolutely gorgeous. They're drop dead sexy and doesn't really matter. And if they were 25, they'd have no life experience. Like what would they be drawing on? Where like the pathos is there. You have to have something behind you to get there. So like I like pushing into these places where other where films don't normally go because I think I can. I make them at the budget level that allows me to do that without risking my investors' investment, you know. So we'll see. I have another film that I'm hoping to get financed that's a female psychological horror film about a very delicate, beautiful little romance novelist who has paranoid personality disorder and kills her girlfriend by accident and buries her in the backyard and then proceeds to make a series of mistakes that end up having her kill a bunch of people. But all from the perspective of this tiny, dainty little romance novelist, who's just trying hard not to kill the next person. Do you know what I mean? Like I like throwing women into situations where you might not normally see them, or you might not see them as they're portraying the characters.
No, you know what? You keep on doing Jane out there. So thank you very much for
Thank
carrying
you.
the conversation for Witchy Ways. Really appreciate it. Can't wait to talk to you again. Thank you.
Thank you too.